morning, and I'm really appreciative that everybody showed up for this first Ridge Report. I moved to Northwest Arkansas in 2017, and my family and I live just in North Bentonville. I moved here to run the Bentonville Chamber of Commerce. And the Bentonville Chamber of Commerce at the time worked a lot in Bella Vista. We worked a lot in Centerton. I might get myself in trouble if I need to look and see who's around the room. But the chair of the organization said to me, "Graham, you keep your eye on Pea Ridge." That's the piece that Bentonville really needs to be thinking about, and that the businesses need to think about. They're ready to grow. And Mayor Crabtree was on our board, and so I started coming out here to visit him, and I just really fell in love with it. I've been pretty bullish about Pea Ridge ever since, but that wasn't the first time that I'd heard of Pea Ridge. I moved up here from Little Rock, and I guess it was about 2015, 2016, the Little Rock School District, in what school districts are in Northwest Arkansas, a lot of different challenges. And the industry leaders down at the Little Rock Port really wanted to reimagine what education looked like in Little Rock. So they put a group of folks together from Pulaski County, from North Little Rock, from Jacksonville, where the Air Force Base is, and from Little Rock. And they took everybody on a tour to find who was delivering the most relevant, best education in the state of Arkansas. And they came to Pea Ridge. They came back preaching the value and the service and the delivery of skills that people needed from the Pea Ridge School District. So Pea Ridge has always been a leader, still a leader, and I hope that everybody recognizes that leading isn't easy, but you guys are really well positioned. So you're going to hear from a lot of great folks. I am here strictly as the mayor's hype man and or Ed McMahon to those of you that are about my age, so maybe I'll just exactly yell things when he's talking every now and then. But you're going to hear from some folks that are really helping move Pea Ridge forward, but they can't do it without you. So the people that deserve the biggest round of applause are y'all that came in on a Saturday morning to get to know folks, to hang out, learn a few things, and hopefully share some ideas as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hear from our sponsor of this event. There are no cookies without sponsors, so thanks so much to Black Hills and John Rowland. Really appreciate you. Let's give a big round of applause for the nonprofits that showed up. You know, one of the things that clearly y'all recognize because you're here, but you can't separate community from economy, right? Like, the jobs are going to go to the places that have the best communities, and the communities are going to grow with the places where the jobs are. And none of that really happens well without nonprofits. So their work is really, really critical, from the library to the Boys and Girls Club to 4-H and the folks I forgot. It's really, really, really critical. Thanks to them for showing up. So next we'll get an overview of the city, your current position, your growth trajectory, some key priorities from Mayor C. We're going to hear from the department heads on utilities, roadways, water, all those things you don't think about until you really, really got to think about them. One of the most important things, we're going to hear about public safety from the fire chief and from the police chief. And then we're going to hear more about education. And then from RDOT, Arkansas Department of Transportation, the mayor's going to talk a little bit about connectivity and corridor readiness. And then finally, Mayor C is going to give a vision for the next chapter in Pea Ridge. So thank you all again for showing up, and with that I'm going to hand it over to our sponsor once more, John Rowland, to say a few words. Thank you, John.
I appreciate it. I was speaking with Mayor C earlier about how this was one of my favorite cities. And I really do mean that, and I'm going to tell you why. It's just refreshing as a utility provider to work with a city that is so out in front of projects and deals. I had a meeting with you a couple, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, and we were talking about growth and where to go. And he was spot on. He knew where every landowner was and every parcel was, what every business was coming in. I've met with a lot of cities across our state, excuse me, and I've never had that kind of support. We get updates on a weekly basis on what's going on with infrastructure. And I can't tell you how refreshing that is. It's just something that we don't see a lot. And so we got great leadership here. You should be very proud of that. And we look forward to the growth in this part of the country. I mean, I gave a talk the other day at the Economic Development Conference, and at the end of it, one of the major lenders come up and they said, "Hey, you misspoke on one of your statistics." And I said, "Really? Well, what was that?" He said, "It's not 35 families per day moving to Northwest Arkansas. It's 67. So guess where a lot of that growth is going to go? It'll go right up here, right? And that's exciting, but we sure don't want to lose the culture of what traditional Pea Ridge is. It's a wonderful community. And I can tell you, who was here during Storm Uri? Anybody? I know you were. I can see a lot of people were here. I tell you, that was tough. I had to pull crews in from 3 different states, and we were here to serve you guys. But during that whole process, what we were finding out, the community was really serving us. The high school opened its doors to us. We had an army of Black Hills folks out here, freezing to death, and just the community support. And then not only that, after it was all done, just the spirit of Pea Ridge, the attitude that everybody had, understanding, when you have a cold blast go all the way to the Gulf of America and freeze out wellheads in Texas, you guys understood. It really wasn't our fault. There's nothing we can do when the gas can't come from Texas to supply you guys. So very gracious, and we certainly appreciate that, and look forward to working with you on a lot of big projects. It's going to be exciting. And who's here from the school? Anybody from the school here? Over here. Oh, right on. We're going to do a new program with you guys, hopefully this fall. Okay. Have you ever heard of Operation Open Season?
Of course I haven't.
Okay, well, Black Hills actually started that about 10 years ago. And I would love to help sponsor that. And if any local businesses would like to be a part of it, basically what it is, we like to partner with our local trades. Because that's where we're going to get our next generation of employees at Black Hills. And so what we do, we give you materials to build a hunting line. Okay? A hunting line.
Yeah, Mr. Davis will be on that.
Okay, very good. Now what we're going to do with that hunting line, we're going to find somebody within 30 miles of the school we're going to give them that line for free on the condition they let a wounded veteran hunt out of it at least once out of the year. Okay? It's called Operation Open Season. Look forward to working with you on it. I mean, we did talk, kind of COVID, it kind of slowed down a little bit, but did you know we've opened up over 160,000 acres in the state of Arkansas with that program? Wow. And we'd like to start doing that up here for our wounded veterans, because they certainly deserve our respect. Look forward to working with you. You've got a bright future up here, and we're excited to be a part of it. All right. Thank you, John. I appreciate you being here, sir.
So now we're just going to get into kind of the state of the city address on where we are, what we're doing. First of all, thank you for being here today. This is awesome to see everybody here to be a part of this conversation and to know what we're doing, where we're headed. There's a lot of things happening, as you can see, around Pea Ridge. Year-over-year growth rate's 10%. More than 610 homes were finalized last year. Right now, in the first quarter, we're at 195 homes. 135 impact fees were done in the first quarter of 2025. And then our sales tax increase is 3%, and that's going to keep going up. Thank goodness to the commercial corridor that we're creating that speed to market mentality, so people want to come here and invest and be a part of Pea Ridge. One platform that we've got into is Placer AI. It's an analytics platform that a lot of retail, corporation, different people use to find out information about your city. Our neighborhood market in Pea Ridge has 1.3 million visits a year. That's more than the one that's on Central in Bentonville. And the one in Bentonville has about 1 million visits per year. And this data that we collect is stuff that we share with people that are looking as far as site selectors, anybody that's looking along the commercial side of things. This is what they want to look at. This is the things that they want to see. So we've invested, excuse me, we've invested into this. Thank you to the city council for approving that contract for us to give a Placer AI and be able to execute that. And then the other thing that we're doing is the project tracker. I don't know if you guys know about the project tracker that we have, but there's a lot of people that watch the project tracker that are watching Pea Ridge. So that gives them a one-stop shop to find out how many houses are being built, what commercials coming in, what's happening. Jasmine, if you want to go ahead and click on that link, I'll kind of show you the interactions of it. And so you could literally go down to the commercial and see the projects that are happening on the commercial side, the residential side. This database was actually built by Dustin Fye, our community developer coordinator, and this works fantastic. There's been a lot of people that go here to look at how many lots are that's been approved and what's been approved, and kind of fill out the density of where we are as a city and to see where the next project's going to be at. So that's a really good asset that we have in Pea Ridge that a lot of other cities don't have. And I will say we're pretty innovative, being able to do the two things that I just announced, and being able to show the projects that have been approved helps people know that Pea Ridge is being proactive, being able to see what's coming as far as the development goes. These projects that you see aren't projects that are just out there lingering. These projects that are approved by planning and ready to shovel-ready projects is what these are. So if you go there and see that. The accomplishments that we've had is the 66 acres that we received off Blue Jay. That's going to be our 18-hole disc golf course. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the future. The library had a record-breaking patron count of 18,813 patrons. Wendy Martin is somewhere around here. Librarian, she does a fantastic job, her and her staff, has really brought our library to the next level and really is attractive for people to go into and enjoy and want to be in the space. And it's just became really an asset to our city that people want to go to and be a part of. And the meter supply chain is the water department stuff is what we're doing for ongoing initiative to provide customers with real-time water usage data. And so you're able to see, the water department can actually see if you guys have used too much water, and you'll probably get a notice of, hey, you might check for a leak. We've seen that you guys use more than you average would use. And so that's one thing that they've done in those accomplishments. We brought back the outdoor warning sirens that we haven't been able to use for a while, got those operational. In 2026, we'll budget to do 3 more of those. Fire Station 2, I know Chief Bowen's probably going to talk about this a little bit, but we do have a grant kind of in limbo for 2026 from Congressman Steve Womack, and being able to execute that one is a big deal. You can see the plans for it over here if you want to look at those. That's Fire Station 2. And then new businesses that we have is the AT&T Store 7 Brew, Blackhawk Jewelry, Casey's. The optometrist that you see up there is Ozark Eye. We've got some other strip center stuff that's coming in. If you go to the project track, you can see there's a lot more stuff happening than that. But I will say that as far as the commercial side, it's very, very fast. Go ahead, Jasmine, you're good.
Sorry. Pea Ridge, Arkansas. We are a close-knit community that cherishes our history and upholds traditions. While we take pride in preserving our heritage, we also embrace the subtle influences of modern life. Pea Ridge has a wealth of offerings and even greater potential for growth. In the future, we can look forward to new amenities such as the Sports Complex Center, all thanks to your support. By choosing to shop locally and supporting our businesses, you are strengthening our local economy, which in turn fortifies our community. By continuing to support local initiatives and shopping in Pea Ridge, we can look forward to exciting new developments like the Pea Ridge Community Center and Fire Station 2. With your ongoing support and commitment to shopping locally, we can maintain our momentum and expand our activities and amenities, ensuring that we can celebrate together for years to come. Let's keep supporting Pea Ridge as a united community. So
keep shopping local, keep things coming. The next thing we're gonna talk about is infrastructure and planning. The water department has a lot of things happening right now. As you know, the growth happens, you gotta have supply. And so they're looking at a 1 million gallon tank out east of town. We have a 16-inch transmission line that has to go there. A rate study is gonna have to be done to get that to happen. And then East Lake Basin, we'll talk about the basins here in a minute, but East Lake Basin is one that has been under review with the health department just because of capacity. We don't feel like there's a lot of issues with that. So the one that we're really watching right now is Basin 1 and 2 on Ryan Road. And so we'll talk a little bit more about the plans for that in the next coming slide that we're going to talk about. The water department, the wastewater plant that we have, it'll service up to 1 million gallons a day. And right now we're about 46% of that. And so we have room for growth at the plant. It's more about the lift stations, getting that to the plant. That's the question right now. And then sludge handling is going to be the big thing that we have to worry about too at the water and wastewater utilities department. Jake Wagner, I'm going to put you not on the spot, but Jake Wagner is the new water wastewater director. Ken Hayes retired last month, and so he's the new director. Mike Nida is utility GIS inspector, kind of a lot of hats that he carries. That's here as well. So that's the basins that we're talking about. Whenever you think about a basin, this is the basins that we talk about. So Basin 1 and 2, 1 is down the bottom, and then you have Basin 2 that's in the central, and then Easterling is the biggest piece of the basin because there's a lot of land that's still available to develop in that area. There's been multiple different plans that came through for Easterling Basin that never got developed. And so that's why ADH is really watching that. I think Jake and previously Ken had been really working with Craig at ADH to let them know, like, a lot of this didn't ever get fulfilled, so the usage that you're seeing on your map isn't correct. So thank you to Jake and Ken for being proactive in the water and sewer department. In 2021 is whenever they built the new plant. If they wouldn't have built the plant in 2021, we would have problems today in a large facet. You know, the eastern side of the county has some large sewer problems, and kudos to administration and leaders in that time that was being proactive about creating that plant to be built. So we got a new water tower. It's going to, not a new water tower, but we're going to paint the new water tower out on 72 whenever you're coming into Pea Ridge from Bentonville. That's the new logo that's going to go on it, and that's the site plan that they have to see that whenever you're coming in from Bentonville. So that's in the works right now, and it's in engineering and trying to get health department approval for that to happen. We're going to talk about trails and connectivity. So active transportation coordinator Joshua Johnson is not here. He's actually riding. Imagine that. He's in a race today, and then he's got Raleigh Crit this afternoon that they're doing. He's doing a lot of things. There's a lot of things happening with active transportation. So the main thing with active transportation is creating mobilities for all. So if you're riding a bike, if you're pushing a stroller, if you're in a wheelchair, if you're just a pedestrian, we want to try to get you connected throughout the city. And so we'll go through these. The blue is the highest priority. It's an unfunded route essential to local and regional connectivity. And so this is what we want to try to do sooner than later, is creating that route for people to get around Pea Ridge, and it would loop to Bella Vista area down here at the bottom, and then come all the way around. You could loop all the way back up to the city park if you wanted to. And then the red is the future plans of that is pretty out, probably 5 years for that one to happen. And then yellow is funded, planned, and process of being built. And so those are the connectors that we're in the middle of right now. And one thing that we have really gotten a hold of is trying to create safe spots for people to cross on state highways. And so Jared Wiley is director of RDOT, and we had a conversation and we talked about, hey, we need to make it easier for local jurisdictions to be able to do these type of projects. And so they listened, and we actually just got a permit on Thursday that we're going to be able to put a crosswalk there by Ryan Road, by Wendy's and all of that, and we're going to do RFBs right there, so it's a safety crosswalk right there for people to get from one side to the other. We want to connect to Bella Vista, which is connected to the Greenway. A lot of people ask, hey, how do we get to the Greenway? He does have a ride coming up on Wednesday to get to the home office. If you want to ride, then you meet here and take off. The Spanker Creek connector is another one that he's working on. And all of this stuff that he's doing right here is regionally impacting because it's getting people to other locations, but not only that, getting those people to be able to come to Pea Ridge as well whenever they ride. We want to really connect the residential areas, the schools, the churches, retail, and restaurants. That's the main goal in creating these greenways that we create. If you know where the First Baptist Church is, we want to have a greenway to the north of that runs all the way from Spanker Creek, if you will, then to Ildu, and then comes all the way through and goes to the 6-acre park that we're going to talk about. And then eventually it'll go to the Baker Hayes Park, and then you can loop around and go to the city park also through that same loop. Pursuing funding for active transportation master plan right now that is formalized these corridors, and so we'll actually create a master plan for all of this stuff that we're doing. We actually, council just approved a resolution to move forward with that to RDOT to get funding to do that project for master planning. Caleb Turner, Parks and Recs.
Thank you. How's everybody doing this morning? Good. So I'm just here to quickly update you on what we have going on in the park department. Right now, we are actively rolling out grants for our different facilities. One of the biggest one is at City Park. Northeast corner, we're looking to upgrade that. We'll put in some pickleball courts, basketball courts, and add in some additional parking spots. Also at City Park, we have a lot of events going on out there. Next weekend, we have Kids Park Day from 10 to 2. Today we actually have second Saturday in the Ospreys, so I would like to see everybody out there who can make it. So we have a lot of activation going on at City Park. Of course, still have baseball and flag football practices. So the City Park is still our highly used park. I want to make a lot of upgrades there so everybody can get in there comfortably. We have the 18 course disc golf course that Mr. Mayor was talking about. We're working on the first 9 right now. Once that 9 is complete, I'll get pictures sent out on Facebook and everybody can be updated on that. Glad Park, right now we have a lot of activation going on there. We have flag football games going on currently right now tonight. We also do a lot of different programs that's in youth archery in partnership with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. But once all that is done, we will have the sports complex out there so that everybody can use that. We also have the garage. The garage has been a big hit in the community. We have a lot of reservation and rentals from nonprofits, the churches, and then a lot of baby showers and weddings. So if you're looking for that, please access Rec Desk, and you can reserve the pavilions or the garage from there. If you have any questions, please email me or give me a call. I'm happy to talk to you, and without y'all, I wouldn't be here. Thank you.
So as he talks about these park locations, this is the locations of the parks that we're working on. Gladheart Park's out east, the City Park, Baker Hayes, Carter Street Park is where the new all-inclusive playground's going, and the future community center. And then the Yawkey Row Park is where the 18-hole disc golf course is going to be going. So a lot of things happening in the Parks Department for sure. That's a new role that we added in 2024. And so I'm glad we did, because look at the things that he got done and he's doing that other people that we wouldn't have to offer if he wasn't here. So I'm going to turn it over to Keegan Stanton, Planning Director.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Keegan Stanton. I am the Planning Director here for Pea Ridge. I'm still rather new, just joined the team in February of this year, but I have been very, very impressed so far by this leadership that the mayor, staff, and council and planning commission have shown so far. I just have a couple of things that I'll cover today. If you've been following, City Council has approved this year a new future land use map for the city of Pea Ridge. It's a really exciting vision for what Pea Ridge can be in the future in the next several years, the decades to come. The next stage of that is we're going to start looking at updating our zoning code. Because right now, the zoning code as it's written just cannot bring about the vision that the future land use map is giving us. So stay tuned for that. I recognize some faces in here already, and since I've only been here 3 months, I think it's pretty remarkable that this community is just so engaged. And I ask that you keep that up as we go through these zoning code changes. Keep sharing your voice and your vision, because this is your community, and we're here to respond to you. So I'm excited to be here, and excited to get a new zoning code for you all and bring this vision out. So.
One thing that was previously done in the planning side of things is PZD, which is Planned Zone Development. It's a very fast-moving product that we didn't realize how fast it was. And so as what it creates is to where you have to have certain requirements and regulations within a development, but you can do it all at one time. And so you can come in and say, I want to do residential, multifamily, commercial, and green space. And so you come in and throw the whole plan, and then you can move forward with it and not have to go through multiple different rezones. It's all rezoning everything through that same platform. And so that was something that we just did. And we've done it in 2 months ago probably, and the month after we passed it, we had our first PCD. So people are watching what's going on. People are paying attention to what's happening, and they are engaged in Pea Ridge for the planning side of things. And so thank you, Keegan. Next is public safety, and I think it's Chief Han.
I asked the mayor for 2 hours and gave me 7.5 minutes, so if I can do it kind of quick, please excuse me. The first thing we'll talk about is accreditation. This is something we're working on. So this is a voluntary thing that if you're around the police department a lot, you hear us talk about everything we do is we either categorize it as bad, average, good, excellent, or elite. We're always pushing towards being elite in everything that we do. And this accreditation is a part of that. Basically, accreditation just means that we are following standards and policies and procedures and training that are outlined by someone bigger than us that says if you do it this way, that means that you're elite. So that's what we're working towards. Some of the steps we have to take is first the self-assessment, which we've already done, because there are 73 different standards. Well, I'm going way too fast. 173 different standards. Somebody else put in this. 173 standards. 436 proofs of compliance. So we're updating all of our policies and procedures. The city council is helping with that. And then we'll have an auditor come actually to the PD to make sure that we're doing things the way that they're supposed to be done based on best practices in all these different areas. After we see the accreditation, it doesn't end there. We have to continue every year. We'll have them check us to make sure that we're doing those things. That's actually going to make us in the top 10% of all the law enforcement agencies in Arkansas. There's around 367 agencies, and less than 10% of them are able to accomplish the accreditation. It's very, very cumbersome. It requires a lot of extra training, and it's really hard for the guys that we're going to push for it. Our plan is to be totally accredited this year. We're always looking for ways to better serve our community. Where we fall short sometimes, we don't have the staffing to be able to do that. And so this VIP program is for volunteers that want to help. And so it's actually an international program that was started with the International Chiefs Association. So a lot of things that volunteers can help with, such as traffic control, working Freedom Fest, mule jump, those kind of things, elderly checks. You know, if you know me, you know I like to check on our elderly a lot. And so we have volunteers. We already have it for the very beginning stages of it. But we have several retired law enforcement officers and veterans that are already expressed interest in it. It's open to anybody. You don't have to be a law enforcement officer or veteran, so if someone here wants to be involved in it, you can. I mentioned the VIP supporting veterans. One of our possible volunteers is a veteran who is also a licensed counselor, so we're looking at maybe putting something together with him to be able to serve our veterans that are in some kind of mental crisis where he can help with that. So. And that's all, they're all volunteers, so it really is very little cost to the city. We also, this year, have really been pushing the LESO program, which is where we get things from the federal government that they consider surplus. The government has all kinds of things for surplus, the same things that we use every day. And so this is some of the stuff that we've gotten already this year. We got 4 brand new computers for free, so that saved the city a lot of money, and we're already utilizing 2 of those for it. This mobile command vehicle, we're almost done getting it ready, but we got that for free from the government, some generators, some all-terrain vehicles so we can service some of these new trails and things that Josh was putting in. 2 Humvees, and we actually have 3 box trailers now. So we've done a lot. And this really, the cost of this is us going to get it, and sometimes doing some work like to fix them up and get them ready, because the military doesn't always take really good care of their stuff. But these are the 2 Humvees, and basically what we're using them for is disaster response vehicles. And this is one that just got painted, so it's not completely ready yet, but it will be this week. And so we know we've had some storms and things that come through town, and sometimes our Durangos aren't really good at getting around down trees and things like that. And so these disaster response vehicles will be able to get to people who need help. We'll be able to help get the fire department if they need somebody to carry them in or to carry someone out. We'll have medical equipment and the ability to be able to move people around. So that's the real purpose of those. And again, those come from the government really at no cost. So the mayor has asked me to speak about our needs. So I want to first show our calls for service so we can see how it's changed over the years. So a call for service is anything from a telephone call to a fatality wreck to a 2-month rape investigation. It could be anything, but these are the calls of service that we've had, calls for service. So in 2022, we had 11,554 calls for service. In 2024, we had 20,632 calls for service. And based on the trend, we're looking at almost 26,000 calls for service this year. And that means we're really, really busy. So that's around 70-some calls a day that the police department deals with. We're doing really well on everything except for our department's a little small. And so, don't laugh. So the beginning phase is we hired a professional architect who has experience in police departments. They know what's needed, they know what the standards are, they know what is required for a police department. So we had a needs analysis done. So our existing space right now is 3,800 square feet. Based on best standards and best practices from this architect, we should be about 17,500 square feet now. So we're really operating out of a shoebox compared to what we should be. And the guys and girls are doing a great job at that. So they're trying to look ahead 20 years. And so in 20 years to have a facility that can still serve us efficiently and effectively, we need a facility about 21,000 square feet. And the problem with that is it's going to be expensive. And so as we move down the road, I'm just going to need your help. There's still a long way to go on this to figure out what we're going to do, but we also have to do something. And as we move forward, I'll need some support to help make that happen. And that means I'm out of time. So feel free to call me or come by the PD if you'd like to. Anybody wants a tour of the PD, I'd be happy to give you a tour so you can see what we do now, what we're up against. Our people have done an amazing job using the space that we have. We're on top of each other. We actually turned a bathroom into an armory, if that gives you any idea. So feel free to come by and see us.
Good morning. Okay. My name is Clint Bowen, Fire Chief here at Pea Ridge. I actually came on full time last September. I was here for a few months before that, doing the position part time, trying to fill in and help out. I was born and raised right down here on Sugar Creek, so I actually am from this area. I've been here for a lot of the impacts. My career was actually spent in Rogers. I spent about 27 years there on the Rogers Fire Department. Ended my career as a platoon battalion chief, and anyhow, it's really helped out a lot coming over here because we saw a lot of that growth throughout my career that Pea Ridge is seeing now and will continue to see in the future. I was going to do kind of a very similar thing as what Chief Hahn did, because really numbers speaks louder than anything. I did a little analysis. Actually, I say that I have a wonderful administrative assistant that does really good numbers. This is not me. I ask, she gives, and then I can repeat. But 2023, the Pea Ridge Fire Department ran 1,235 calls. And those are where we actually turn wheels. That gets them out of the station, whether it's an ambulance call, whether it's a fire call, whatever the case may be. 2024, they went about 100 runs, right? 1,341. 2023, 2024, 2025, this year, as of May 8th, we have ran 1,416. Right, so we are on track to run about 3,245. That's roughly 8.9 calls a day, and statistically, by the end of this year, we should be about 11 calls or higher by the end of this year. So where that matters to the fire department. We had a thing for small things in Pea Ridge, which was a small town. We have a small police department. We have a small fire department. Our fire department is a converted police station, volunteer fire department, and community building, right? So we are also out of room. I hired one extra person to meet NFPA standards when we got here. So we have 5 people on duty full-time a day. That's 3 on a big red truck, 2 on an ambulance. There's a lot of things that go into that. We're very fortunate that we have people wanting to extend their education. We've got folks that are actually standing in line to go to paramedic school. That's super exciting. We help fund that, and we actually fund it, and they in turn sign a contract of how long they will stay to make sure that we get our money's worth out of that. But we have to have people riding in with them while they do their paramedic skills, right? That's part of the schooling, so we can steal one off the fire truck and still at least 2 on here instead of just one guy responding. We have a lot of very robust mutual aid agreements with the folks around us right now. Bella Vista, Bentonville, Rogers, Oakville, Little Flock, and Nebco, and that's really good. The bad part of that is that's still travel time, right? And so we're kind of in the same boat as far as needing to build our Station 2, Station 3, and be thinking about Station 4. So fire departments, they're actually based on 4-minute and 8-minute response time. So if you have an FMA, and that's the direct area that they serve that closes, and that should be a 4-minute response from the station. 8 minutes is going to help another fire station. So basically, if you actually have a fire in somebody else's FMA, you need to be able to try to be there in about 8 minutes from the time you roll out your station. So that's how you go about deciding where fire stations go in a city. And we have 3 spots that are obviously where Station 1 is perfect. Station 2 on Hickman Road, which is a volunteer station right now, it just houses a couple trucks, is actually perfectly located. We're looking at, we got land with the city over on Gut 372. And then Station 4 is going to have to be somewhere over, and when I say Station 1, 2, 3, and 4, the numbers mean nothing. You know, obviously, you have to have an identifier. But these stations don't have to follow that numerically in the way they fall. But so Station 4 should be somewhere over in the Spanker Road area in 72. That's going to be probably the best place for it. We got good neighbors to our north, and I use their computer software, and it basically looks at the roads you have and it maps your time. So that's how we get those. But yeah, we've got really good working relationships with these folks, and that's what's really helping keep us everything buttoned up here is mutual aid agreements. But as we continue to grow, obviously, you know, the numbers are there. We're going to need, same thing as Chief On, we're just going to need more folks, more stations. We do have a grant that is approved with Steve Womack's Community Improvement Program. We, you know, made it through all the hoops, all the committees, got the improvement, and that was huge, and everything was set to go, and then, you know, then there's politics, and we had a presidential election, and some people are mad, some people are glad they can't agree on a budget. So then we retro budget, so they agreed finally to only do what they budgeted last year, which of course we weren't in that, so we got put on hold. We've been in really good contact with Steve Womack in his office, and they guarantee us that we are a priority, and as long as we're willing to wait, they will keep us there, and we will always be on that list to receive it whenever the budget does pass. Well, of course, I mean, we're extremely interested. This is a 55-45 cost share. So basically what that means is they will pay for 55% of it, and the city will back up 45% of it. So basically, when you're looking at a station like this, Bella Vista, Bentonville, Springdale, they've all built one. A little bit smaller than this, they call it a substation. I've been on several station design and builds with Rogers, so it's not the first one I've been through. We got a great architect who came and listened to our needs and basically created a beautiful station, in my opinion. But this is a 3-bay, 6-bedroom station. And the reason we look at that is because I'll let Keith Barter probably tell you about schools. Basically, when you get something built, it's either too small or it's almost too small, right? That's just the way it goes. So these are all built for future growth into. When I say 6 bedrooms, that doesn't mean they all get built right away. But I promise you they will. And the cheapest time you can build is when you're building new construction. So this is just forethought, is all this is. But this station can be placed like in the numerics that I talked about, 1, well, actually 2, 3, or 4. This station should be what our quote-unquote cookie cutter would be for the city. That way, when you drive by and you see this, you know it's a fire station. One doesn't look like a house, one doesn't look like a airport building, or whatever the case may be. They all basically look the same. And the way you do this is you build one whenever we get the opportunity, and then people move into it, they work out of it. There's little, things that need to be tweaked. We tweak them, but they all resemble that. I'm covering a lot of stuff very quickly. I don't know if I get buzzed in 7.5 minutes or what happens, but we've got a lot of growth. We've hired a fire inspector since I got here. He's working real close with the building inspectors. We've got really good fire inspections actually being done on businesses now. We've got, he's looking at our townhomes, our apartments that are being built. So everything's really looking a lot, and I hate to say safer because it's always been safe, but we are checking the boxes now that this is legit, right? We're getting Knox box keys on businesses now. That's being required. Basically what that does is that keeps us in very close communication with whoever's responsible for that building, because there's a master key in there that only the fire department has a key to get to. But with that, people really don't like putting keys to their stuff in there. They make sure that they keep close tabs on us. That means we got good communication with them. We can reach them at 3 o'clock in the morning when they have an alarm going off, and we don't have to break their door to go in and find out what's wrong. A lot of good stuff going on. We're really moving into the future with the size of the city that we are. Obviously with the growth that the mayor has talked about, statistics all show it. We're going to be hiring John, our fire inspector. He's going to have an assistant someday. When we put on more firefighters, we build stations, we're going to have an administrative staff. There'll be a deputy chief, and we'll have to start filling our ranks there. Right now we have a captain who's over the station and 4 guys that answer to him. And so there's a lot of growth there. It'll happen. Our biggest thing is we don't want to put a big tramp on the city. We are public servants and we pay taxes too, but our biggest thing is to make sure that we can serve you guys when you all do need help. We've tried to mix a bunch of things up. Instead of having a rescue staff like Rogers or some of the bigger cities do, we're actually putting extrication equipment on the engine, so if the guys happen to be out, and girls, and you guys, there's a car wreck or somebody needs extrication, we don't have to respond back to the city, get a specialized vehicle, and then come back to you. We're trying to make it where everything is done on one vehicle, and it's working out really well. When we talk about response to the community, one thing I will say before I part here is it is such a blessing to work in a place like this. Last year, I believe by January, we had $18,000 walk through the front door from the public to us. And so what that does is that allows me to ask the city council for what we need, right? The taxpayers' absolute needs, which absolute needs, we do have to have a fire station eventually. We got a new ambulance right after I got here. We got another one coming. Both of our old ambulances had several tens and tens and tens, like up in the 80s, thousands of miles on them. Not what you want for transporting critical patients. We have 2 fire trucks that are 20 years old last year, and that's obviously exceeding the length of their service time. So we have ordered new trucks. The council's given us that. It should be here by the end of this year, first part of next year. So those are huge things, right? And what that $18,000 does, when everybody walks through that door and gives us, we've gotten the state-of-the-art infrared search cameras to go on 2 of our fire trucks. Actually, it will be a 3rd one here shortly. And that gives the guys and girls a very quick way to scan a room. You guys have all seen movies that have fires in them. They don't look like that. You can't see. It's dark. It's hot. That's about what you get. And so basically when you go in this infrared camera, you kick it on and it gives you heat signals back. And so we can see that there's somebody in that room, but not just that, but it's also a safety thing for us. If we lose a firefighter, that's how we find them. And so those are huge, and that's what some of the bigger cities around here have, and we're able to give that to these guys without, burdening taxpayers right now. And so I'm super excited about that. We got some new air monitoring equipment that allows them to go out and handle these CO calls. When you guys fire up your heaters in the first of winter or something, all your alarms go off. We can go determine whether or not that's safe or it's just a bad detector. So we're getting some really cool stuff, but it's also because of the generosity of the public. Last thing before I hand this off, coming from Rogers, obviously a bigger place to hear. One thing I truly cherish about this, I think you guys are extremely involved, and you probably know this, you probably think I'm kind of slow because I'm just figuring this out, but, you know, when I reach out to the water department, and you know, and they're, I mean, anything they can do to help. Street department, Monty, police department, with Chief on, it is like, it's just like calling your buddy, you know, that you would call at 3 o'clock in the morning, come get your truck out of the ditch and not ask any questions. They are great, and I stand by that, no questions. But, you know, the mayor, the ladies down at City Hall, everybody is just willing to help, and that is such a nice thing to come into, because we have a lot to do, and they have a lot to do, but they'll drop everything they got to make sure that they're there to help you. And I just really appreciate that. Thank you for allowing me to serve you. And next up.
All right, next up is, maybe go there. Mr. Martin, as you know, that we have a great working relationship with the school. This building here, school admin's on one side, City Hall's on the other. This is a shared meeting room that we share together. We do a lot of stuff together with the school, and I think that says a lot about our community. Whenever you can come together and do events, share the space, save taxpayers money whenever you're building facilities. And so I'm going to send it over to Mr. Keith Martin.
Hey, yeah, my name's Keith Martin. I've been here for a while. I think I'm finishing up here 27. Well, I do have some slides to go through, but don't worry, they're random pictures. I'm an elementary teacher by trade, and so that'll be a little easier. But I'm more known for being Wendy Martin's husband, so the library director. So, do we have a video?
Yeah.
Okay, can we go ahead and start it, please? Now, before I get into it, that video was created by a student. That one was too. But that video was created by Mr. Cook, or Coach Cook in his class, and our students and everything, and they do a wonderful job. But our message is kind of the same as what you've heard earlier. Am I able to? Yes, I am. Oh, we are the home of the Blackhawks. I put that slide in there because I thought I was going to have to start the video myself. But we are a growing district. We are currently about 330 employees that do a tremendous job of serving 2,700 pre-K through 12th grade students. When I first came here, we were probably 80 staff members serving around 700. And that's been a couple of decades ago. But we are growing, and we're serving a growing community that is serving Northwest Arkansas. And we are so proud of the work that we're doing and the staff that we're doing and what our kids are doing. And I hope y'all see that every day. And for a plug for our baseball and softball team, if you have time today, at 12 o'clock in Gravette, the baseball team plays, and at 2:15 or 2:30, the softball team plays. So they are playing, they're already qualified for state, but they are figuring out what seed they are. So we're really excited about that as well. But what we're here to talk about today is also our partnerships, and we value our partners that are helping us serve our community. I know some of them are here today. We've got the Boys and Girls Club, with our on-site after-school care, our pantry, the food bank, the Million Meals Initiative through Our Best Bank that helps us with that as well. And what we're using all our partnerships for that help us in so many ways, because it's way more than Pea Ridge School District and the 5 school buildings. We have more than 5 buildings, but our 5 schools that we have serve our kids. It takes us our community as a whole to serve our kids. It takes every entity that we have, and I know I've missed some of these, but the work that we do together to serve our community does this. Now, I told you I had pictures. So, a few weeks ago, Miss Bennett, her primary staff, they had kindergarten signing day. These are our future kindergartners. They'll be here, in August. And the best thing about that for them, of course, is the big pencil. Everybody loves a big pencil in the picture. But that's who we're here to serve, and we cannot forget that. We're here to serve these 2,700 kids, their families, and the 13,000 or so stakeholders that reside within Pea Ridge School District. And we're here to make sure that they have the very best possible education that they have. Now, at this level, it's core instruction and everything. But later on, we had Black Hills Energy talking a few minutes ago about that project. Those are things that we love to do. We have to be able to connect our kids to beyond Pea Ridge School District, because Pea Ridge, the community, and the school district serves Northwest Arkansas. Very few people work inside of Pea Ridge. I know y'all, how many of y'all fight either 72 or 94 when you go to work in the morning? Yeah, it's a lot. It's great for teachers that we're hiring because they're going against traffic, coming into Pea Ridge in the morning, pretty good. Leaving Pea Ridge in the afternoon, pretty good. But we have these kids doing this. Possibilities are endless, and they need a path to success. What we do with them is, we get through elementary school, middle school, getting our basics done. We do an amazing job in K-6 education of getting our core instruction. Reading, math, literacy, social studies, science, all those things. But it's also about having those moments in time where they know we're trying to help them figure out what they're going to do in life. We have a lot of kids that my mom and dad work for Walmart. My mom and dad work for Jamie Hunt. My mom and dad work for Glad. My mom and dad work for the city. My mom and dad work for Mercy Health. Well, yes, they do. But where I'm from in South Arkansas, if you work for Walmart, your mom and dad worked in the store. And that's the one thing Walmart had. Up here, if you work for Walmart, you can work in a store, you can work in a distribution center, you can work from home, you can do all kinds of things. There's accountants, there's logistics, there's everything there. So, making sure that kids have an idea, with the help of parents, the support of the community, on where they're going to go. Now, we have several paths. I only have 2 up here for examples. I believe the path I put up there is an agriculture pathway and a medical pathway. That science and everything. When we get to that 5th to 7th grade range, it's about having some exploratory options of figuring out what we want to do. It's very important. And by the end of the years, where they have certifications, whether they have, certifications, whether they're concurrent credit, taking AP classes, that they are ready to go later on in life. And that is where we have to connect our students to Northwest Arkansas. All of these up here are organizations that our kids can be part of when they get to that 7th to 12th grade range, especially their 8th through 9th. Whether it's with Black Hills building it was a duck blind or deer stand, which one did you say? Yeah, deer stand, sorry. Build a deer stand. Mr. Davis in the FFA pathway would love to be part of that. I don't know if you follow us very much on social media. I believe they just finished a hay trailer and the Mr. Steiner Group, is that 808 Ranch. They purchased that from us, which we were very grateful for. We also cut them a good deal. To be honest with you, We had exactly in materials because the kids would weld and cut through that material anyway, so we just get our money back to be able to regenerate it, and it's a good thing, but it also does that. So our primary purpose is no matter what a child needs, whether they need advanced academics, partnering with NWAC, partnering with U of A, partnering with concurrent credit online, AP, whether they need a skill through Skills USA, whether they're business, technology, doing consumer science, art, that there's a place for those kids here at Pea Ridge School District. And that not only is there a place, but there's a place where it's a starting point for them so that they can move on into their lives and into their careers. Because at the end of the day, we had these students signing, I need these students in 13 school years, because you got to count kindergarten. I need these students to turn into here, where they are employed, enlisted, or enrolled in any form combination, no matter what that looks like, where they are employed, enlisted, or enrolled. We have kids that are going on to welding school. We have kids that already have welding certifications. We have kids that are doing HVAC, electricity apprenticeships that they're going to start. We have kids that are going to, I believe we have someone going to Vanderbilt. We have some, everything in between. We have kids that are doing the most honorable thing you can do, and that's enlisting in our armed forces. Our kids every year, and I believe I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday, we have our employed, enlisted, and enrolled ceremony. And we will recognize where every kid that is graduating and where they're going. Every kid has a story to tell. It is our job to help them along the way to tell that story. And to make sure that, you always hear that thing, man, he peaked in high school, she peaked in high school. You never want that. You always want the next part of their journey to be better than when they leave us. And whether it is they stay here in Pea Ridge, or they stay in the Northwest Arkansas region, or whether they move out of here, no matter where they are, that when they started here in Pea Ridge, walked across our stage, past our classrooms, past our football fields and gyms and everything, that they're able to go into life and exceed. And that journey, it's just it continues. What we see, you see us growing, and there's no secret to that. We just released an enrollment analysis. 7 to 10 years ago, we would have thought that our next building project would have to be an elementary school. We did. Just common sense that you build from the bottom up in enrollment. It has been that historically with communities. That is not what our community is showing. The latest growth analysis, or enrollment analysis, growth analysis, I guess, would be for a city. We do enrollment analysis because it's enrollment of students. Our enrollment is growing in grades 6 up, and it's not even close. That's when you saw the chart, like the 37% for the 7 through 9 building, and the high school was 30-something%, the junior high was 20-something%. There's a lot of factors that are leading into that, but we are growing in upper grades. And eventually that will be that we need to increase capacity of our buildings at the upper grades, and that's okay. We'll communicate what we need to do and support. And it's expensive, there's no doubt about that, but just like a police department's expensive, a fire department's expensive, that's what growing communities have to do to increase facilities. And when I see this, and I see that our journey continues together, the two things I like in the Pea Ridge City logo and the Northwest Arkansas logo is you see the word life in both of them. In the Pea Ridge one, I think it says life's better in the ridge or on the ridge, and in the Northwest Arkansas one, it says life works here. And that's what Pea Ridge School District is about. It's about making sure that our kids have the opportunity, not the guarantee, but the opportunity, because it's work on kids as well, to have the opportunity to have the life that they need and the life that they want to work for. So guys, super grateful for the support that we have. I know everybody's asking about the track. It should be open in a couple of weeks. We have a final walkthrough, and we have a little bit of paving left to do. School year has gone extremely well. We are excited about next year. Another thing that you'll see from us is we continue to grow you will continue to see more programs that come online. This year, we have an athletic opportunity opening up for kids. We're having a male and female soccer team starting this year, which we're really excited about. We're beginning to offer more programs of study. We are the Scholars Academy that Ms. Harrison is doing in line with our TTAP to make sure that we're meeting the high academic needs of some of our students, that we are continuing to do that. So it's exciting times in Pea Ridge School District. It's also a little nervous sometimes. The houses keep coming, Nathan. And yeah. And, that means more school buses, more everything, but that's okay. That's what we're here to do. We're here to serve our community, and we're going to make sure that we meet the needs of the community at large and make sure that Pea Ridge is the best place to live in Northwest Arkansas. So that, I guess, questions are later, because I was going to say, do anybody have any questions? So sorry about that. But guys, thank you so much.
Next up is Sean with the Boys and Girls Club. Do you want to show the video first, or do you want to talk first?
Yeah, we can show the video.
Thank you, everybody. It's good evening. When I first joined the Boys and Girls Club, I'm going to be honest, it wasn't really my choice. I was young, and my aunt and uncle thought it was better than staying home alone. Little did I know that this decision would change my life in profound ways. At the Boys and Girls Club, I developed leadership, public speaking, and initiative, skills that have carried me through life. I started as treasurer of Torch Club and later became president. As I moved up, I took on more responsibilities, planning games, leading meetings, and helping run other programs. I owe much of my growth to Miss Gracie and Mr. Sean, two of my mentors who believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. They helped me build my confidence, taught me how to lead others, and showed me the importance of having strong morals. The Boys and Girls Club also taught me the value of giving back. Through Torch Club and Keystone, both character and leadership programs, I learned the importance of community service and how it can make a difference. I've had the privilege of going on summer trips, advocating for mental health, and even speaking with representatives in Washington, D.C. It's been eye-opening, and these experiences show me that kindness is key in everything we do, especially when talking to kids who may be going through their own struggles. Now, I understand that pain all too well. As someone who grew up experiencing neglect and abuse, I know firsthand how important it is for kids to feel supported. I remember being left alone as a child, having a neglectful father, and a mother who did not take feelings into it. I was forced to take care of my brothers and my little sister when my parents struggled with their own issues. This is why I'm passionate about helping others who have gone through similar experiences. Showing livestock for the past 6 years has given me an avenue for healing. I want to create a program where youth can bond with and care for livestock as a form of therapy. It's a way to provide them with routine, responsibility, and stability, things that are often lacking in their own lives. What I've learned through my own journey is that no matter how hard the past may be, we can always look to the future. My mentors, Miss Gracie and Mr. Sean, taught me that it's okay to open up, to let go of the walls we build around ourselves, and to even help others. They helped me grow from being a shy, quiet girl into someone who now speaks confidently, shares her story, and even mentors others. I believe the work we do for others is never just about us. It's about the next generation, the youth who will continue to carry our lessons that we pass down. My story isn't just mine anymore. It's for all the youth who feel unheard, overlooked, or lost. I'm here to fight for them just like others fought for me. Thank you.
So real quick, let's give it up for Zoe. She has worked really, really hard to get to that level. At the time of that video, she had only won the local competition just for Benton County. Since then, she has won the state Youth of the Year title, and next weekend she will be in Texas competing for the Southwest Regional title. And then if from there she wins, she will go to national. And what that program is it is for high school kids aged 14 to 18 who have been club members. They write a series of essays, they go through interviews, and all along the way they are earning scholarship money. This year, just for entering, every student, earned $1,000 in scholarship. A few years ago, we had a young lady make it all the way to nationals. She didn't win, but her first 4 years of college were completely paid for from scholarships through this program. So again, we are very, very proud of Zoe. I've gotten to watch her grow. Even before I worked for the Pea Ridge Boys and Girls Club. My name is Sean. I am the unit director here in town. For those of you who don't know, we do have a Boys and Girls Club here in town. We are very fortunate to partner with the school district. We use the gym at the intermediate school and the surrounding classrooms in that building. We are currently working on an expansion project into the girls' locker room and to renovate that and to be a dedicated teen space only. We are seeing a large growth in the amount of teens. You know, as Keith said, that's kind of from 6th grade on, that age range that seems to be coming in waves. We have a grant out right now to provide a program for tweens and teens to start their own podcast with video, which will, in partnership with a local company, teach them how to edit the audio, the video, interview skills, logos, music, all of that. So it's not just sitting down having that conversation and posting it online. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes skills that are being taught with that. Beyond that, we have programs, one such for 10 to 13-year-olds called Torch Club. They join and they have to get a minimum of 8 hours a month of community service to stay in good standing with the program. And then from there, they get to go on field trips over the summer specialized just for them, and that sort of thing. And then with Keystone, it is 14 to 18-year-olds. They have a slightly higher amount of community service that they have to acquire a month, which is 10 hours. And then from there, they are eligible to go on trips with partners of ours like Arkansas Game and Fish, where they will go on a 3-day, 2-night float trip down past Eureka, and they will learn water completely. They learn how to take care of the river, how to measure life in the rivers and that sort of thing. They also learn to do archery and skeet shooting, which is really fun when we have teens from around the county who have never gotten to shoot a shotgun, watch them learn to do that for the first time. So entertaining. Highly recommend such a game. And then we also have national trips for like Keystone Conference. 2 years ago, we got to take a group of 8 teens from the county to Dallas, Texas, to meet with Keystones from all over the world. We met some from military bases in Japan, Germany, and all over the country as well. So it is very, very good networking for them. And that is my time. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you to Boys and Girls Club and everything they do in the community and in the region. Next, we're going to talk about RDOT stuff. RDOT sent me kind of a platform of items that we want to talk about today. How many in the room is not from Pea Ridge? Anybody from out of town? Not from Pea Ridge? Not like you don't live here? Okay. So if you're leaving Pea Ridge in 72, that's the big question. What are we going to do about 72? That's been a conversation for the 20 years I've worked here. So RDOT just hasn't moved proactively on this. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and about some highway swaps that we're working on with RDOT and some intersection improvements that we're going to be doing. So to get into it, we're going to do I'm going to go to the map instead. We're going to do a highway swap with RDOT, and on the map, everything you see in red are the highways that we are taking from RDOT, and everything in blue will become state highways. So we're going to take everything in red. They're going to take over It'll-Do Road as Highway 94, and then Leetown Road will become Highway 72. They'll put a sweep into the Highway 72, carrying it to Highway 62, and then It'll-Do Road at the north end. We're going to do, you can hate them or love them, roundabout is what we're going to do. They'll do a single lane roundabout right there to tie in all of that, the highway structure and Benton County 40 into that area. So this all came about because if you look at Highway 72 right here, going through our main start of town and through our downtown district, there's not a lot of stuff that we can do locally because it's state highway. They really keep you from doing things in that area that you want to do to improve the corridor, commuting. And so years ago, we spun them an idea to do it's called a peanut roundabout for 265 and Weston Street. And it got kicked back and said, no, you can't do that there. That kind of roundabout is not going to be approved. Well, we said, okay, so we got together with RDOT and said, how about we do a highway swap? Then we can do what we need to do there as a community and be able to take care of our residents the way that we need to take care of them. And so that's what we're going to do. This was in a minute order at the April Highway Commission meeting. And so that means that now we can actually go to a resolution that'll go to City Council to actually move this forward and actually adopt this highway swap. And this means a lot for Pea Ridge and for the future of Pea Ridge as far as the infrastructure goes, because there's so many times that people are like, how come the city's not doing X, or how come the city is not taking care of this? Well, that's not our jurisdiction to take care of. We can advocate for change, but we can't make the change. Now we're going to be able to do a little bit more on making the change happen locally. And whenever you do an RDOT project that's funded with RDOT, you got a bunch of red tape, and it makes it so much more expensive because they have Federal Highway Administration and different things they have to carry through for those projects to happen. So they're going to take some of their projects that they were going to do and create ours there to happen at the end of It'll-Do. The one project that you're going to be seeing coming soon is Plentywood is going to get a left turn lane. That's the first project for Highway 72. What's that help you with? It really, I mean, if you live on Plentywood, then it'll help you, but other than that, it's really not going to help much. So that's the first project. We did have in the STIP program for Highway 72 to be 4-lane, all the way from the Boaterre Center and all the way to the four-way stop in Pea Ridge, and that was in the STIP program for several years, never got done. It got pulled from STIP 3 years ago, and now we got the MPO, and so that needs to come back in the STIP program. We have to have this happen, and so we're trying to get that to happen. We have to have letters of support from neighboring communities, and so we're really trying to get past that to where we can do this project that needs to happen. And so there is going to be this project here that RDOT was going to do, and so they're going to take this money of overlays that they were going to do from downtown out to Guthrie, and they're going to loop it back into the infrastructure improvement that we're going to do on the north end of It'll-Do. And so they're going to move about $7 million worth of projects that they were going to do to improve that intersection at It'll-Do, Benton County 40 and 94 in that corridor. And so that helps us with being able to move a lot faster on that project and fixing that issue there. On the north end, that's on the north end. On the south end of It'll-Do, there's a project. We have submitted some concepts, And so there's a realignment and some signalizations and stuff that we're working on with RDOT right now to try to see if we can make that happen. And we're waiting on confirmation from RDOT to make sure that that plan's going to go through. This right here, whenever you look at this map, there is going to be some of the corridor on 72 going by, if you go north where Arvest Bank is, there's some of that corridor there that we want to try to create safe streets for all in that area and try to create it to be the Main Street Boulevard, if you will. And so that's one big thing that we're going to try to focus on there in the coming years is creating it to be a good connector that we have turn lane in and have sidewalk on one side and trail on the other side. Okay, so vision for tomorrow, we're going to talk about what we're doing. Job creation is what we want. We want economic growth. We have to get cash registers. That's our biggest thing. I met with site selector for Tractor Supply, and there we met. He's like, yeah, we're looking at Pea Ridge, but we don't know about it. And I said, well, come visit. They came visit, and we drove around. They looked at several different pieces of property. Finally, they bought a piece of property to invest in, and they're here, and they could have picked 500 other cities to invest in. And so they chose Pea Ridge for a reason. The reason they chose Pea Ridge is that they see that Pea Ridge supports local. Pea Ridge supports the people that are here, and Pea Ridge will shop local, and which creates us to be able to have an all-inclusive playground that we just broke ground on. 6 acre park, it's our first one, and it gives that community a space to enjoy with their peers. It's a vital piece of the community that we don't serve and that we will be fixing to serve. That 6 acre piece also has a community center on it that we're going to be looking at doing. The plans are right there in the coming years. And then Car Street project that's just started. This is a Safe Streets for All Car Street project that we're doing. And so this corridor is going to have a trail on one side. We're going to do curb and gutter all the way through it. And it's going to be a safe route for people to get from Patton Street to the business district, if you will. Fire Station 2, Chief Bowen talked about the highway swap that is happening. Sidewalks and trails are huge for us right now because we need to connect the pieces of the community that don't feel connected. If you go out more to like Walnut Hills or Gibbons or that area, they don't have a trail that goes to them. And so that's one of our big things is to be able to get them connected as far as being able to have walkability to the community, connected to the schools. Zipline launched an MP2 launch. If you haven't checked out Zipline, it's a really cool product that we have in Pea Ridge. It's very innovative. And the whole 18-hole championship disc golf course that Caleb talked about. We will be the only one here in Northwest Arkansas that has this. The next one's in Tulsa and the other one's in Springfield. And so this came from a guy who actually built one of the disc golf courses in Springdale. He said, hey, if you have space for an 18-hole, do it because you're going to bring a whole different community here that wants to be a part of that. So that's what we're going to do there. Downtown renovation concept, we got a concept to do some downtown renovations to create a square, if you will, around the Veterans Memorial. And so in the coming years, we're going to try to do some stuff downtown to bring more stuff to our downtown. So talk a little bit about population and talk about growth, and everybody's like, why do we have to grow? Why do we have to have this? Well, we don't have to have it, but it's good to have it. Helena and West Helena declined by 41.8% since 2001. Pine Bluff suffers economic decline with significant population loss. West Memphis struggles with poverty and crime, leading to a decline in population. Camden experiences job losses and shrinking in population. El Dorado, bless you. El Dorado, once was a prosperous oil and food company, is struggling in diversity in its economy. Blytheville was hit by hard agricultural decline and a lack of manufacturing opportunities. These cities are facing challenges such as economic downturn, high crime rates, and limited job opportunities contributing to population decline. This is literally off of the website. This is what we talk about. Whenever you talk about Northwest Arkansas and how it's growing, it's healthy to be growing. Because if you're not growing, this is where your statistics go. And it makes it not attractive for people to want to be there. And so, our statistics are this right now. We are the number 4 top growing cities in the state of Arkansas, and population is around 10,000. We're more around 13,000 to be honest right now, and so we're continuing to grow. We continue to have opportunities come to us. And so this is our housing mix. Density is good compared to most Arkansas cities. And single families, we're at 90%. Single families attached. You can see the numbers. I'm not going to throw them all. But we, as far as our density goes, and compared to other cities, we're doing very well with our density. And that's a compliment to our planning director, planning commission, staff that are watching these things whenever they come through to make sure that, you know, we're not saturating the market too much in certain areas. The suggested opportunity for multifamily investment and median household income, you know, is $109,000, and then the median household price is $337,000. And so, in comparison, a lot of people are like, we're going to be Pea Ridge because houses are a little bit more economic and cheaper than they are in Bentonville or Rogers, and they can still have that connectivity. We're committed to creating an economically prosperous future that honors its past while embracing innovation and sustainability. That's the vision of what we want to do as a city. Those are the things that you want to have in your community to keep growing. The mission is to continue to be a place of growth and opportunity that values family and cultivates community involvement. That's why you're here today, community involvement. We want to value your time and value you as a resident of Pea Ridge to let you know what's going on, where we're headed, and having a vision for the future of what's going on here. Whenever you think about Pea Ridge, there's a lot of things that you can think about. A lot of people think about the military park. They think about the school. They think about, you know, the things that you get to come here and do. But whenever I talk to site selectors, is what they're most engaged about is outdoor recreation. Where are people going whenever they leave their house? Are they going to the parks? Are they walking the sidewalks? How are we going to get people to our business district from this location? And so that's a lot of their questions is about connectivity of getting people safely to the location that they're looking to invest, which creates better quality of life. We made this up. It's very true. We want to be proficient, excellence, alignment, responsibility, integrity, development, growth, and efficiency. That's what we want Pea Ridge to be. We want to be that for our community, and as we grow, those are the things that we look at. I do want to talk about a little bit. I want to take the time right now. Council members, if you're here, will you stand up, please? We have some council members in the room. So we have Deidre Larson, Jeff Neal, and Bob Morrison. These are some of our council members. And so I just wanted to put your face with the name so people ask. Planning Commission members in the room. Adam Stokes, Karen Sherman, Sheila Wilkerson, Sean Rooney. So those are our Planning Commission members, some of our Planning Commission members. These are vital people for our community. Staff, executive staff, department heads, if you're in the room and you're not up here. Monty, stand up. I see you back there. You're looking at me. Monty King, Street Superintendent, and then Jake Wagner, Wastewater and Water Superintendent, and Wendy Martin's back there. And then, of course, you've seen the others up here that spoke. We have a very vital job for each of you to create the best Pea Ridge we can create. And that's our end goal whenever you think about Pea Ridge. From public safety to education, to walking the streets, to being able to drive on the streets. I know there's progress is always takes time, so be patient with us as we work on Carr Street, and that happens. And there's been already some stuff about why are we doing this, why are we doing that. But there's a reason to the things that we're doing in that corridor. I want to say thank you to Jasmine Johnson. She's our media coordinator. She created the slide. She did a great job. Thank you to Jason Dunn. He's an admin assistant to every person in the city. So if you need something, we're all like, go to Jason and say, hey, can you help get this out to the community? And so Jason Dunn is a great asset to our community. Cindy Button is the city clerk. She's the chief court clerk. She just started yesterday. I'm just kidding. She's been here 48 years, and so she knows a lot about the city. So she's like where we go whenever we have questions about what happened in the 70s, because she's like, let me tell you about this. Anyways, also I want to recognize Mayor Crabtree and Mayor Mary Duran in the back. Those are people that were stakeholders and are stakeholders in the community and really set the foundation of where we get to be today. So thank you very much. And please visit the booth, the people that are here, learn about what they do, get involved. There's a lot of opportunity to volunteer around here, and everybody needs volunteers, and so be a part of something. Anybody else have any questions or anything? I want to thank Black Hills, Amber Mountain for supplying the coffee. Black Hills did the breakfast. This will be an annual event that we'll do, and so next year we'll have more information about what's going on. And so thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your time, and I will let you go.